What's up, everybody? So I am really late to the game with this movie. I know. Romantic comedies are not exactly my cup of tea. I kind of shy away from most of them, mainly because they're just so predictable and there's never really anything new that is added to it. I mean, one of the main things that I saw when they were promoting this movie was, oh, it's kind of like two old school, like you can say like 90s movie stars, getting together early on in their movie career and making something a la Pretty Woman, you can say. Even though it wasn't Richard Gere's, up and coming movie, but it was like uh, basically the foray into superstardom for Julia Roberts. And this kind of was like the movie where it's like both of these people are going to be catapulted into that particular level. But I gave it a shot. You kind of do that when you're married. You kind of just watch what your wife wants to watch a lot of the time. And so I figured, since, look, if she's in the romantic comedy mood, I've heard about this movie, so why don't we check it out? So we do. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it was not the formulaic thing, because yes, it was very formulaic. You know, these two people have tension, there's a misunderstanding of some kind, in the end they get together. Spoilers, but that's how every single romantic comedy has ever gone. But as an English teacher, one of the things that I really, really enjoyed was the Shakespeare influence in this movie, which is one of his more famous plays, Much Ado About Nothing, which is actually a play that I teach with my eighth graders. So talking about this movie while I am teaching them this play was really, really a great connection, because normally it's like, Shakespeare, it's old, I don't understand the language, and that there's a lot of resistance to it. But in this case, having referenced the movie, which most of my students had already seen, for better or for worse, they were a little bit more open to it. And it was really, really well done. And I like that it wasn't necessarily like kind of like 10 Things I Hate About You, like a modern interpretation of it. They just took elements of it, certain elements of it, and then there, if you know Shakespeare, there are like these little Easter eggs inside, which I really dug. The main thing is just the chemistry between these two. They're, even though I know they're going to end up together, the ways in which they kind of leave open the door to connect with each other was really, really great. For example, there's this moment, it's a really, really funny moment. My wife and I both had a kick out of it, where they're both on the plane to fly to Australia for this destination wedding. He's in first class, she's in economy class. She ends up in first class to, I think, go to the bathroom or something, and sees him sleeping with the cover of the eyes, and he's got some earphones on, and he's listening to something. This really kind of funny moment happens in there while he is sleeping. But one of the things that you hear that is also very humorous is that he's listening to this very particular song, this very kind of corny song from the early 2000s. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And even just hearing the music is kind of like, oh God, why is this guy is listening to this very, very corny song? But all right, whatever. We all have that with us, where we listen to something that we don't really want anybody to know that we listen to. And then there's a callback to it, because he's not listening to that song just because he likes the song. He hates flying. He's terrified of flying. And he has that song on replay because of how scared he is of heights. And so there's a moment where they're both kind of lifted up in the air by a helicopter, and he is freaking out. And then she starts to sing him that song, and then they sing it together. And then it's a nice little moment where they bond, even though they're supposed to be like hating each other. So when they're adding little bits like that, I'm like, okay, I've never seen that in a movie, in a romantic comedy before. So that was nice to kind of see how the different flavoring that they use to make the same romantic comedy dish, And so that part of it was nice. I did think the ending and the way in which they get back together was just really kind of over the top for my eyes. Um, and I thought it was just a little bit overplayed as the credits are rolling. Every one of the characters is singing that very corny song that I referenced just now. But aside from that, it was great fun. I highly recommend that you watch it if you haven't. And if you have seen it, you don't understand how it references Shakespeare. Give them even the Shakespeare movie. Same thing, Much Ado About Nothing from the early '90s, and the cast is loaded. It's got Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves. I know that sounds kind of laughable, but he actually does a really great job in my eyes. In that movie, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson. It's terrific fun. Give it a go, and then you can see how Anyone But You references a lot of it. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.